everybody, welcome back to the Chiquel YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and I am just so happy to be here to share with you Gisele by Jon Renau. It is such a lovely piece and I have so many lovely things to share with you about it. But before I do, I'm going to remind you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video if you are into wigs, wig reviews, topper reviews, color comparisons, all things about wigs and toppers you can come here for. All right, now also before I dive in, I want to make sure you guys watch to the end of this video because at the end of this, I have some special news for you guys that you're not going to want to miss. But okay, you guys, you know when you put on a wig or a topper and you look at yourself and you're like, this is the one, this is it. That's kind of how I felt with Gisele. This is such a wonderful piece and let me tell you why I think it's so lovely. Okay, so the first thing that I noticed when I put this on my head was how lightweight it feels, even though it is, you know, fairly long. These fibers are extremely lightweight and fluffy. I would say this is a pretty light density. It's not the lightest density ever, but I wouldn't go as far as saying it's medium density. It is pretty light density, and I usually can tell when I put them in a ponytail and see that there's like, my ponytail's not very big. There's not a ton of hair there. So this is a pretty natural density, but you are gonna find that the reason it does have volume is because there is Permatease. So I feel like so many people are afraid of the Permatease. They're just like, get me away from the Permatease. And I used to kind of be like that. However, once I have started working with wigs, obviously, you know, way more in the last few years, I have grown to have a fondness of Permatease in certain situations. And a lot of wigs need the Permatease in order to look half decent, or else they're just gonna be like, and like suctioned against your head and just so flat. This one is one that just has the perfect amount of Permatease. There is some in the crown, there is some around the sides of your wefting, and there's even some you're gonna find at the nape and pretty much throughout all the wefting. Now, the Permatease is good for a couple of reasons. The first reason that they do Permatease is because it helps hide any wefting. If you have an open wefted cap, which means it's machine sewn and it's sewn into rows, then the Permatease helps to disguise some of those wefts if, you know, your hair blows the wrong way in the wind. You're gonna have that like crimped hair below so that it does not expose the wefting. So that's one reason Permatease is good. And the other reason, which I've already touched on, is that it just helps give it a little bit more natural volume. Now I get it. When they overdo the Permatease, it's like, help, I'm wearing a helmet on my head, right? But this one does not feel like I'm wearing a helmet. It's just the right amount. It's nice and fluffy and pillowy, and it's not too much. But I do always have to warn when there is Permatease because some people are like, get it away, which I get. I totally get. I love a good no Permatease wig too, but on some, I think it's necessary. All right, so Gisele's made with synthetic fibers, which I think I mentioned already, but I can't remember. Honestly, these fibers are so lightweight and fluffy. They feel so nice. I mean, that's not to say that these are the smoothest, softest fibers I've ever felt in my life. They're wonderful, they're great, but they're not the smoothest, softest. They are lightweight and fluffy though, which is really wonderful. All right, let's take a look at this style. I am loving this style because it is so versatile for a lot of different styling options, and I'll get there in a second. But we're gonna have these sort of curtain bangs in the front on both sides, which is really wonderful for doing updos, in my opinion. And I'm gonna show you some updos in a little bit too. We're also gonna have a little bit of like an unstructured, undone sort of wave flippiness happening. Again, my hair lingo is all over the place. It's not like we really have any curls going on. There's just definitely a little bit of structure. It's almost as if you had a loose curl a few days ago and now it's just like brushed out, a couple days old, and you just have a little bit of it left. So all of this styling here helps to make this look a little bit more voluminous. So like I said earlier, even though this is a light density, it's not necessarily going to look light density because of the Permatease and because of all of the extra styling happening down here. All right, this has a lace front. Now, Jon Renau did actually a really wonderful job. Sometimes I'm not in love with Jon Renau's lace fronts, but whenever they are able to bring forward this lighter color, it always makes for a much more natural lace front. The lace front is just a temple to temple. So it ends right here on each side. And whenever it's just a temple to temple lace front, as opposed to an extended lace or an ear to ear lace, sometimes I do find that between the lace and where the wefting starts, it can be a little bit abrupt. But I have seen worse. This isn't horrible. But whenever this happens, I always make sure that if I were to pull it off my face, I keep some fibers at the side to cover up that little abrupt switch. All right, Gisele also has a full monofilament top. So the monofilament top lets you change the part wherever you want. Get close so you can see. So whenever you have a monofilament top, you are honestly always going to see the knots a little bit if you inspect it closely. I'm sure you can see where all the tiny little dots are, where the knots are. But the average person walking by you on the street is not going to come up to your head and be like, let me look at your scalp. They're just not, and they're not going to have any idea. So sometimes people are a little bit concerned about the knotting on monofilament tops, but in my personal experience, nobody has ever known that I'm wearing a wig, and I pretty much only wear monofilament tops. Okay, let me take this off so we can just take a quick look at the inside. Here's your full monofilament top. So all of this is your parting space, and all of this on top is what gives you the look of natural scalp. And then we have our lace front here, temple to temple. It's an open wefted cap. So open wefted caps are usually nice and stretchy. They're breathable, ventilated, and really great if you live in a hotter climate. We have velvet ear tabs and a velvet nape. So it's not extended, it's just your standard sized nape with some Velcro adjusters. All right, let me put this back on and talk about the color quickly. So I'm wearing this in the color 10RH16. It's a beautiful brown with blonde highlights in it, and it's a very natural looking highlight. So the brown is the 10, which is a light brown. And then the 16 is sort of a natural, I'd say cooler blonde throughout it. And when we have RH in the middle of a color code, so 10RH16, that means Renau highlight, which means that it's gonna have 30% of the hair being highlighted. So it means it's a little bit more highlighted than their standard 10H16. So 10RH16 is gonna have some more highlights than their standard color. Okay, now in terms of the fit, this is fitting pretty true to average in my opinion. If I were to say more specifically, the circumference maybe is a touch smaller than average, like maybe, but not by much. And then the cap itself is pretty true to average. So I'm a petite. I measure 20.5 in circumference, 11.5 front to nape, and 11.5 ear to ear. This, I would have to adjust the Velcro just a little bit to make it feel better on the circumference. And then as always, whenever I wear average caps, I just have a little bit of bulk in the cap that doesn't truly bother me. Okay, as promised, let me show you what this looks like in a couple different updos. I'm gonna start with just a half up, half down. So again, I love having these curtain bangs in the front. It just gives it a softer look, a little bit more natural, so that it helps hide the hairline a little bit, hide any ear tabs that might be exposed, hide the transition from the lace into the rest of the cap. And I also don't always love pulling things straight off my face, because then you have a very straight line that I don't particularly enjoy. So these curtain bangs add a nice soft look. So here she is in a half up, half down. Really easy to do, really quick and simple, and really cute. Okay, let me take this out And I'm gonna put her in a full updo with this claw. So again, the curtain bangs, perfect for a situation like this. I always find claws to be so glamorous looking. Okay, not my best job, but we get the idea. Always make sure whenever you have updos that you're hiding the hairline. I can't talk. You're hiding any hairline so that you don't expose any of the cap. Okay, and while I'm here, I will do a quick ponytail for you so we can see what that looks like. So whenever I do my ponytails, sorry, I'm gonna do this kind of quick, I always keep in front of my ears as opposed to behind. And that's because I'm hairless, like underneath, I don't have any hair. So I don't really have a hairline. So if I pull it behind my ears, you're gonna see it's gonna look wiggy. So for me, I always keep it in front of my ears. However, if you have your own hair and if it matches the color of your wig, you can always pull out some of your own hair to then pull back and blend in, and that's gonna make it look like it's legit growing out of your head. Okay, so, and of course I keep my front pieces out. And then I also make sure, see if I turn around, it's gonna look like a wig. I always have to make sure I pull that down, and I also pull some of the fibers out to kind of bubble them out a bit. And that helps disguise that hairline a little bit more. So here she is in a really cute little ponytail. So styling Gisele is really simple, really easy, and it looks really natural too. Okay, so before I end this video, I did promise you guys some special news, and my special news is this. If we can get this video up to 100 likes, then I'm gonna choose 2 comments from down below and give you guys a $50 gift certificate to Chiquel. So make sure you like this post and put a comment below telling me if you would wear Gisele and what your favorite thing about her is. Now, if Gisele is something that you're interested in, then make sure you go visit us at chiquel.com, chiquel.ca if you're in Canada, or chiquel.com.au if you're in Australia. But for now, thank you guys, as always, so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.